The New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN Report. So the plot is thickening with this whole impeachment proceeding against current celebrity in chief, as Charlamagne the God calls him, Donald Trump, president of the U.S., with this all starting from a whistleblower who turned out to be a CIA official actually issuing a complaint against Trump that showed that he used the $400 million that was supposed to go towards Ukraine for aid in order to leverage a favor out of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to get him to open up a investigation against Joe Biden, current presidential 2020 candidate, and his son, Hunter Biden, who actually sits on the board of a natural gas company out there. So it turns out that Rudy Giuliani is now being subpoenaed by House Democrats to actually turn over documents relating to any business dealings that he has out there. He publicly admitted on television that he urged Zelensky to actually open up this probe against Biden and his son. And also the Wall Street Journal is now reporting that U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo was actually in on the call as well that went to Zelensky. So Green War and Graduation Report of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN Report. I know I'm low-key supporting UConn and all of that, but you know, them motherfuckers ain't cut me a check, you know what I'm saying? It ain't that type of party, it's just a shirt, y'all. But check this out though, evidence is growing that actually Trump and the Trump administration have actually pressured other countries into helping Trump politically, specifically Australia, Britain, and Italy. President Trump himself has actually pressed the Australian Prime Minister to actually help him essentially discredit the Mueller investigation. Attorney General William Barr has actually reportedly helped or asked Italian officials to actually help him with his probe. The probe that's essentially supposed to go into discrediting the Mueller investigation. And keep in mind that Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is out there today, so you know they playing games. But I wonder if they're this is the first administration to do such a thing. It has to have been done before, right? Or other countries must be doing it to us, right? Green War and Graduation. Of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN Report. So over in Hong Kong, actually, they hit their 17th straight week of protests. Now, these protests initially started from the extradition bill that Chief Executive Carrie Lam introduced, basically saying if you catch a case in Hong Kong, you get extradited to China to deal with it. And people were like not feeling that. It gave away their autonomy. I thought Hong Kong is in China. For those who don't know, they have a one country, two system set up. So, and they felt like that was violating their autonomy. Now, it also spun into them wanting Chief Executive Carrie Lam out of there, them wanting to address like police brutality. They just really didn't like how Hong Kong and the government of China actually cracked down on those protests and treated the protesters. But now you're talking about a country that's typically occupied with like 6,000 Chinese troops is now being occupied with 12,000 Chinese troops estimated. And you're talking about this was actually the first week that Hong Kong police actually opened fire, live ammunition against the protesters. One of them got shot in the chest. And you know, they were also firing tear gas and water cannons. Meanwhile, the protesters are actually hurling Molotov cocktails at the motherfucking establishment. So this is how it's going down, all amidst the 70th anniversary since Mao Zedong actually created the People's Republic of China, October 1st, 1949. So they had the largest military parade ever today. So that lets you know what's happening. Green War and Graduation. The Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN Report. Sign my petition, y'all. Get Donald Trump off Twitter. We can do this shit. Check the change.org link in the video description if you're watching this on YouTube. Or go to change.org and it's spelled out. Get Donald Trump off Twitter. Spelled exactly how it sounds. Lays out exactly why he should be removed from the platform, including violating Twitter policies. Now, over in Haiti, anti-government protests continue. I mean, this is we talking months on end, where people are calling for the resignation of Jovenel Moise, the president, due to him being suspected of corruption and misuse of Haiti, the Haitian economy, basically. And protesters also believe that this will be an end to, like, you know, hunger and, you know, murders that have been happening. But keep in mind that much of the capital, Port-au-Prince, has actually been locked down and Haitian police actually started opening fire, live ammunition and tear gas or whatever. 4 people have actually been killed in recent days of these protests, so shit is real out there. Green Wall and Graduation. The New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN report. So yesterday, in Somalia, actually, the Al-Shabaab militant group is claiming responsibility for an attack on a U.S. drone base out there in Somalia, as well as an Italian military convoy. Meanwhile, Amnesty International is reporting that the U.S. was responsible for these airstrikes that happened back in March that actually killed 3 Somalian civilians. Now, the U.S. is saying that they were aimed at Al-Shabaab, the militant group. So who knows though, because it seems like the U.S. is racking up a lot of civilian bodies overseas, especially as it comes to that Middle Eastern African region. You know what I mean? Green Wall and Graduation. What other New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN report. Over in Nigeria, in Africa, right? So you have Omoyele Sowore. This is actually he's a journalist. He's a presidential candidate. He's the leader of the Revolution Now movement over there in Nigeria, and that's actually like taken, has caught wind internationally. But also he is the creator of the New York-based news outlet Sahara Reporters. This man has actually been locked up since August for suspicion of treason, basically for his Revolution Now campaign. But he was released. I told y'all about that last week, but he was sent back to jail yesterday after he pleaded not guilty to the charge of treason. So, you know what I mean? So, Omoyele Sowore, I mean, somebody like that gives inspiration to a lot of people that are trying to make change, and, trying to take out whole governments and terrible regimes. Over there, it's about Muhammadu Buhari. Shit. Over here, it's about Donald Trump. You know what I mean? Green Wall and Graduation. For the other New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN report. So, the United States, specifically the Trump administration, continues to put a lot of pressure or a lot of blockage on the country of Cuba. Now, they actually recently blocked Cuba's public health minister from being able to come to the World Health Organization that's supposed to take place in Washington. This comes a week after they put sanctions on former president of Cuba, Raul Castro, and his children, basically for their support of the Venezuelan government. This also comes after there's been the 2 Cuban diplomats that are actually assigned to the United Nations have been expelled from the United States, and Cuba is currently going through a severe fuel shortage due to the sanctions that the United States already has against them. So it seemed like Trump and his constituency, his people, they really came in with a plan to essentially like cripple Cuba. Green Wall and Graduation. Stay the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN report. Make sure y'all sign that petition, y'all. Get Donald Trump off Twitter. Find the change.org link in the video description if you're watching this on YouTube, or go straight to change.org and look up Get Donald Trump Off Twitter by Bishop Grady, and it lays out exactly why he should be removed from that platform. No ifs, ands, or buts, irrefutable evidence. He continues to put us, U.S. troops, people abroad in danger, giving out misinformation all from that platform alone, so at least we could shave some of this madness coming from him if he doesn't get impeached. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no guarantee that that'll happen, especially with the Senate we have. Now, check this out. Chris Collins, a New York Congress member, he actually has resigned, and he's expected to plead guilty today, succumbing to these accusations of insider trading for and dealing with this Australian biotech company, him and his son, where he actually used to serve on the board of this company. So, we'll see how this pans out with them, but he's definitely out of Congress now. This is the first Congress member that publicly support Donald Trump. I'll let you know what time it is. Green Wall and Graduation. Streets report of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN report. So, Bernie Sanders, this Democratic Socialist presidential candidate for 2020, going for the title, basically to take down Donald Trump. He actually announced that he raised $25 million in campaign funds in the third quarter, the most out of any other Democratic presidential candidate, and he's actually gotten 1.4 million individual donations, donors basically. So this is actually that's also the most out of any Democratic candidate. So, you know, it begs the question: Are y'all fucking with Bernie Sanders? Are y'all riding the Bernie train? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I think he actually do be speaking for us, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. We'll see how this pans out, though. Green Wall and Graduation. Of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN report. Yeah, I'm mobile right now, but I'm still gonna let y'all know what's happening. I ain't gonna switch up, but over in Seattle, actually, Seattle, Washington, that is for you dumb motherfuckers. Let me stop. But Lee's they actually had climate activists that were able to shut down 4 whole Chase banks in protest of JP Morgan and Chase's support of the fossil fuel industry. They trying to shut that down, as many climate activists are trying to do, and protesting at these banks and huge institutions. Now, 11 people were actually arrested in this, and it's reported that JP Morgan Chase alone has loaned $196 billion to the fossil fuel industry ever since the 2015 Paris Climate Accord, which Donald Trump has since pulled the United States out of, or whatever. So that lets you know what time it is, though. Green Wall and Graduation. The New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN report. So yesterday in San Francisco, California, man, you had 37 animal rights activists that were actually arrested from protesting outside of a Whole Foods, where they put a 15-foot tall cardboard cutout of Jeff Bezos' head. Jeff Bezos being the CEO of Amazon, which actually owns Whole Foods, putting that shit on the top of the fucking roof of the store. Now, why were they doing this? Well, Direct Action Everywhere, the activist organization, has accused Whole Foods of basically purchasing food from companies that are known and outed animal rights abusers. So motherfuckers got mad and they did something about it. I mean, you know, I say motherfuckers, we know they was white, you know what I'm saying? We know our people don't necessarily do that, but it is still work that needs to be done, because how they be treating these animals sometimes, like just to get food, it'll make you reconsider eating meat. You know what I'm saying? Real shit, though. Green Wall and Graduation. We'll go to Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN report. Now, I told y'all about the homie. He the homie now, Gavin Newz, the California governor, always being on the right side of history, right? So he actually signed a law that's supposed to go into effect in 2023 that basically allows for college athletes to be paid through advertisements or sponsorships, and to actually have agents. So this is a huge deal. I mean, imagine well, one, it's a revolutionary start. You may see other states enact the same thing, and this go nationwide, since this has been a talk for a while. But imagine, like, you know, Michigan Fab 5, you know what I'm saying, being able to capitalize off of even just that name. Or even when you're talking about, like, I don't know, the 03 Miami Hurricanes, or, you know, all types of, like, successful teams or athletes. Carmelo Anthony, what if he had his bread before he even got to the league? You know what I'm saying? There's countless examples of others, but it sounds like a good deal. You know what I mean? We tired of the universities raking in millions while raping millions of kids. You know what I'm saying? Green Wall and Graduation. Of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN report, man. Make sure y'all sign that petition too. Get Donald Trump off Twitter. Find the change.org link in the video description if you're watching this on YouTube, or go straight to change.org. Look up the essay I did, Bishop Grady, and it's titled "Get Donald Trump Off Twitter," spelled exactly how it sounds. Lays out exactly why he should be removed from the platform, violating Twitter's policies, you putting us U.S. troops, people abroad in danger, the whole nine, man. Now check this out. This is actually the 100th anniversary, or should I say death anniversary, I hate death anniversaries, of the Elaine Massacre, which took place when white vigilantes in Arkansas actually massacred, they slaughtered hundreds of African Americans. Now, this happened after black sharecroppers had actually organized with the Progressive Farmers and Household Union of America to actually demand higher pay for cotton. Now, as a result, they actually erected in Helena, Arkansas, a new memorial today to honor those who were lost in that situation. So, Green Wall and Graduations, fuck.